What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Now today is a very special video because we finally made it. We made it to the tier 10 British tank destroyer, the FV215b 183. Now I've gotten to play with this a little bit. I spent all day trying to work up for it and I finally got it. And then I played with it a little bit today just to, try to get more of a feel for it. This thing is it can be a pretty badass tank. I've gone into matches and done 7+ K of damage. I mean, it's nasty tank if all the elements are there. Of course, your team and the maps and stuff like that. But it can be a very, very deadly tank. It's got a nasty gun on it. But with the good things, there are also some drawbacks to this tank, and we will talk about that very shortly. Now, this thing has 2,000 health or hit points, and which is nice because unless you're going against T110s, which you will face, or some of the E100s and stuff like that, it can actually take a little bit of a beating. Now, like I said, it is a tank destroyer, so it can't take an amazing beating like most heavies and stuff like that can. It doesn't have the most angled armor and stuff, but it can still take a little bit of a beating. Now, the thing that makes it kind of shitty is like the whole armor is 152 in the front, 50 on the sides, and 76 in the back. The nice thing is the turret has 254 armor in the front, 101 in the sides, and 76 in the back. This thing can get a top speed of about 34 kilometers an hour, so it's not a slow tank. It moves pretty nicely. It's got a view range of 400 meters, a little bit less than the Waffle Charger E100. And if you look at this kind of is designed kind of like the Waffle or off of the E100 chassis, but it has the it doesn't have the same turret on the top. So there are some differences, but it kind of reminds me of the Waffle Charger E100. So anyways, let's get straight into, like we always do, talking about the weak spots on this tank and what to look for if you're going against it, and what to watch out if you are using this tank. Now, like I said, this thing can be a badass, but there are some pretty major weak spots. Like, of course, for instance, the lower plate is one of those spots that you really want to look for when you're playing or going against this tank. Now, if you move up just a little bit, you can see where there's like a little trailer hitch and there's two headlights in the front. Now, the headlight on the left is where the driver sits. You can see that there's a little viewport right above the headlight, and if you hit there with the HE round, or if you got enough penetration with your armor piercing, you can knock out the driver. I would say HE round because HE rounds usually have a better chance for knocking somebody out. So now if you look up here, it's kind of like the hood of a car. We'll call it the hood of the tank right now. That is a very, very, very weak spot for anybody sitting on top of a mountainside, or for arty. So if you're arty, I would suggest highly shooting this part of the tank, especially since it's the most exposed part. Now, if you look at the turret, you see these 2 round cylinders on each side. Actually it's 1 cylinder, but you see 2 round like pins sitting on the side. That actually holds up the barrel and allows the barrel to adjust itself up and down. If you look directly where they're actually sitting, let me get to the other side because it's a little bit more brighter on this side from the welder in the background. Anyways, you can see it kind of looks like an arrow shape that it's sitting in, and then also there's another connected arrow piece, and I will have pictures of this so you guys can see this a little bit better and see what I'm talking about. Those are weak spots also on the tank, on the turret, in the sense of the front part of this tank. And I would highly suggest shooting those spots, especially with HE rounds, because you're going to knock out the gun. And this tank really cannot do without its gun. It's already got a 30-second reload pretty much on this barrel, so hitting there and disabling the gun could really screw up the part of this tank, you know, that he relies on the most. I've already been shot there a couple of times, and taking out my gun has been one of the things that pissed me off the most. Now, looking at the side, we're going to start with the whole of the body and then go up to the turret. So, starting on where we were talking the hood of the car, now if you follow that just down, where kind of is like a rectangle shape before you actually get to the plating that protects the track, right there is a very weak spot. The rest of this will probably just track the tank, except for you can see like there's a toolbox right underneath there. For a couple of squares, you can actually hurt this very badly or catch the tank on fire. That's where the engine and the fuel are stored, pretty much on both sides of the tank. Right behind the toolbox, there's like another little rectangle that connects to the exhaust pipe. That is also a very weak spot. Just above that, you can see where we talked about the little, canister shooter, like the flares and stuff like that. Just left of that, right where this kind of exhaust pipe kind of looking thing coming out of the turret, right there on the side of the turret is a very bad spot to hit, because that's where, like, commanders and stuff like that sit. You can hurt somebody, the gunner, anybody like that, with an HE round right there. Also, where the rope is, or the metal rope is, you can smack it there, and also can ammo rack it and stuff like that. Now, looking at the backside, not much to say here, except that this is open for everybody to shoot at. This is very weak spots. The engine's in the back, so a good chance of knocking out the engine and stopping people from being able to do stuff. So, also on this side, the same exact thing as the other side, like we said. Either side of the toolbox where those rectangles are, of course, right underneath the toolbox, the fuel and engine. So there's a couple of spots you can hit. I don't know why I said the engine's in the back. The engine's in the side, or actually directly in the middle of the tank. So shooting in the back's not gonna take out the engine. I don't know why I said that, but I was just thinking German tank for some fucking reason. I'm telling you, this thing reminds me of the E100. Seriously, the Waffentrager. So anyways, let's take a look at the equipment I'm using, also the barrel and stuff like that, and some of the other things that kind of make this tank good and also can make it bad. So of course, let's go to packages. Of course, there's no packages to really unlock, but we can at least talk about the damage and stuff like that. So you can only fire 2 rounds a minute, so of course, like I said, 30 seconds, which kind of sucks. The aiming time is 3.40, and that kind of sucks compared to the Waffentrager E100. To be honest with you, on a 1-on-1 battle, the Waffle's gonna win pretty much every time. I usually takes me about 3, maybe 4 shots to take this tank out, and then I usually have either 3 or 2 rounds left over to take on another tank. So don't try to take on a Waffle E100 1-on-1. Now, if you have HE rounds, possibly you could do a one-shotter on the Waffentrager E100, but you're risking it. So unless you were covered and stuff like that, then I wouldn't do a 1-on-1. Anyways, so let's talk about the penetration. Now, if you're using the armor piercing rounds, you're going to do about 310 in the sense of penetration. Not bad. And then you're going to do anywhere between 1,150 and a little bit more than that. Now, the gold rounds, we usually don't talk about the gold rounds and the HE rounds because I usually just stay with the armor piercing, but I'm going to talk about these because it's very interesting with this tank, and how you might, you know, go about it. Now, of course, the gold rounds are going to do pretty good. That, you know, I know it says 275 pen, but we're going to discuss that a little bit more once we go look at the actually consumables and stuff like that. It does a pretty decent amount of damage too, 1,750, and these are like the minimum damage pretty much. You can do a little bit more than that. I mean, you can roll even lower than that. You can roll like only 900 damage, but basically they're saying that you could stay around 1,750. And then of course the HE rounds is only 92 pen and 1,750 on up, and we'll talk about that in the consumables. So and we've gone over the turret armor. Now the turret speed isn't bad. The main thing on this one is, like I said, the aiming time is kind of shitty on this. So, and no, you cannot, you know, do a complete 360 on this. This is kind of like you know, like the tortoise, where you have a view range left and right, but it's a pretty nice view range side to side. I can't remember the actual, you know, degrees you can go, but it's pretty much almost all the way turned sideways to the left and almost all the way turned sideways to the right. You know, basically where those slanted armors are on the left and right side, kind of where those little strap hinges are sticking out, is as far as you can turn left and right with the turret. Eventually then you'd have to move the whole tank. So crew, I don't have anything amazing on there. First of all, I'm just going for 6 cents first, and then I'll do some other things. Consumables, though. Consumables. Now, when you first buy this tank, they give you 2 armor-piercing rounds and then 10 high-explosive rounds. The HE, regular HE. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck that. You know, I do 863 damage with the armor-piercing all the way up to 1,438. So I was like, fuck. I'm going to do that because it's got better penetration, 233 to 388. Sounds good, right? Wrong. I went into a game trying to play with that, and sometimes it would work where, you know, I'm doing like 1,000 damage every hit, 800 damage, stuff like that. But it wasn't consistent because I was ricocheting here and there. You know, the way, you know, you still have a nasty bubble, even if it's zoomed in all the way, that you could miss left or right. It's not like the Walton Target E100 where you have a limited spot where you're going to miss. Like, you've got a really good chance of hitting and stuff like that. And with a 30-second reload, that was pissing me off because I'm like, fuck, I just shot at this person. They have 30 seconds to tear my ass up, and that's what was happening. So I decided, well, you know what, the game, you know, gave me a whole bunch of HE rounds. I might as well try that. Well, I went down to the normal HE rounds, and unless I actually missed a tank, I was actually hitting, you know, hurting every single tank I hit, because of course it's HE rounds, it's explosive. And I was doing anywhere between 600 on a very, very low roll, all the way up to the most I've seen is 1,300 at the moment. It's just because I haven't had a chance to really fire at tanks on their weakest spots. And it's been nasty. I went from only doing, you know, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 damage a game with the armor piercing to anywhere between 2,000 to 7,000, depending on how well my team played out and stuff like that. But on good games, I usually did a lot of fucking damage. The other thing you need to look at too is look at the price difference. This is not a money-making tank unless you just get amazing matches. I mean, if you lose, I lose money. Even if I win, if I don't do enough damage to people, if I don't do enough in the game, I lose money. This is not a silver builder. This is just purely, you know, go out and demolish people at the cost of silver. You know, I mean, you can make silver on it, like I said, but you've got to do your weight in the battle. You can't just sit there and only do like 2 damage. You know, or like 2 shots on somebody and expect to make good amount of money. You're gonna waste a lot. I think, you know, what was the amount I paid the other day? Like 30,000 or something like that. And I think I still came out negative 1,200 or negative 2,300. So this can be a very expensive tank. But like I said, just you know, figure out which rounds work for you. Me personally, the HE rounds work better. When on most of my tanks, the armor piercing are better. I mean, on the Waffle Trog E100, I love the armor piercing because I seem to do a lot better with that. But with the HE rounds with this one, you're guaranteed to do a pretty good amount of damage. Of course, I got the small repair kit, small first aid kit, and manual fire extinguisher. Equipment right now, because I spent all my damn money buying this damn tank, I had to sell a couple tanks. I did buy the large caliber tank gun rammer, which is very nice to have. Now, I'm going to buy possibly the camo net, but with the size barrel on this tank, once you shoot even behind cover, you're going to be exposed. It's a very nasty tank in the sense of its camo and stuff like that. Not bad, but it still can be nasty. So I might put the toolbox on here, and then also the gunling drive as my last one. I did customize it, like I said, on all my tier 10s. I'm going to paint them all. So, of course, I did all the different camo schemes for the different, you know, summer, desert, and winter. So, this tank was a lot to go over. But, you know what? I'm going to do a lot more videos using this tank so you guys can see it. But, of course, right now, we're going to jump into a battle and just show off the tank a little bit. We're going to do another video exclusively of just this tank, just like we've done with the other ones, just so we could show off the pure power of this thing and also the pros and cons of this thing. So we might have good battles, we might have bad battles. Today has been kind of a shit day, but not terrible. So let's see what happens. Alrighty guys, we're in Arctic region, standard battle. Now this isn't a terrible map for me. I actually do like this map. I played this earlier and I got my ass kicked, but not terribly though. Now I'm going to show you guys something I learned the other day, just fucking around, because some matches I'm like, okay, I'm going to die. I'm going to try to find, you know, some secret spots that nobody really knows about. And this is actually a nice little spot because of the advantage points that I get with this. And there's not really any kind of camoing up there. There's no real bushes or trees. Now remember, trees do give you camo, but it's usually trees are only defined as camo if somebody's looking from a mountainside down to you. They're not defined as, you know, blocking somebody that's in front of you. So just remember, if you're behind a tree, it doesn't work as like regular camo, stuff like that. Now let's see if I can make it up here without Rory's help, because earlier today I was having a difficult time trying to get up here, but I think I was just not angling myself up. So memorize how I'm getting up here, guys, because there's no other way of doing this. Now this might seem, oh well, this is crappy, you're not going to be involved in the battle. Wrong. You can see where these guys are in front of me. Now they're going to spot the people coming around the corner eventually, if there's people that come around that way. And the nice thing is, once I get to my spot, oop, there's somebody. You know, we're going to stop for a second. And this, okay, he's going to go down, of course. Now, once I get to my spot, no one's going to see me until they start really pulling up this way. But if anybody comes around that corner, I'm going to be able to shoot them and then keep shooting at them. And then also, I get to cover that side. As soon as they come up that hill, down here, right here, I'm going to be able to shoot this area easily. And if they come into the middle, I could shoot down here too. So, but apparently nobody is coming around the corner. They all came the other way. There are a lot of people over there. So I'm going to stay back just because I know eventually my team's going to fail at holding this line up here, because Waffle E100, God knows why he's down there like a dumbass. I mean, he's not a person you want to have down there. The Object 704, I don't see why he's really there either. He's still an easy target to shoot up. And then also the T110, he can kind of handle his own. He usually can. Now, as I was saying, you have perfect view of everything. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, that's what I mean. The, you know, the aiming time is terrible with this tank. Ah, I should have shot further back. That was my bad. That was a terrible try on that part, but it's okay. They should still be there by the time I reload. It looks like they're gonna stay there for a little bit, and probably just keep backing up, and that's it. But I should be able to hit these guys. Now he's kind of worried about getting shot in the side. Maybe if we get a chance. Yes. So we did 500 damage. Of course, the tortoise, that's not his weakest spot right there. So kind of sucked shooting him. But hey, at least we did 500 damage with the HE round. We didn't have to really care where we were aiming. Like I said, it is nice when you can hit somebody in a really good spot like the side or something like that with this HE round, because it can devastate some people. But you know, if I was trying to use the armor piercing rounds, I wouldn't have been able to hurt them really right there. I might have, but it's no guarantee. Now we're gonna try. Oh yeah, 779. Like I said, it's not, you know, if I could have hit them with the AP, you know, armor piercing, I might have done more damage, but it's a, you know, 50-50 draw, because the guy is moving, and at least with the HE, no matter where I hit him, I have a good chance of knocking the crap out of him. Now this is what I'm talking about. This right here. Now these guys haven't seen me yet, and this is going to be great if I can hit this guy. And it's 1,203 damage. Nasty. Now I don't know if an arty helped me with that one or not, but all I gotta say is that was still a nasty hit. Now we're just gonna move out here a little bit. Now these guys have not spotted me yet. I mean, that waffle was right out there, not able to see me. Ah, is this guy gonna stay here? Boop. 778. He's almost dead. Now if I can hold this off, and hopefully people can come back and help me defend the base, we might be able to win this. This could be a very close game if we can hold this down. I'm trying to save my arty as much as possible, but they do have other arty that is going to be... Yes! Alright. Oh, there goes my line of sight. Damn. Now, I've only got 6 shots left. I've got to be precise. I'm surprised that guy kind of went invisible, but of course, as I'm saying that, I realize that I'm only I have 421 meters, where my line of sight is only 400. So, hello, buddy. I know. 700 out of them. Nice. Now, the other thing too, guys, you can run away very easily with this tank from up there. So, you've got a lot of different ways to go. I've gone off those rocks and jumped it. Did just fine. So, I'm still getting spotted by somebody. I would like to know who, to be honest with you. T30. Son of a bitch. Fucking T30. You're gonna die. Just so you know. Oh, come on. Oh. You know what? I still love it because I'm still doing a lot of damage. I'm happy about what I'm doing. I have to keep moving. That's why. That's the one reason why I have to keep moving. There's too much bullshit from arty. And if I can help this guy out with this guy, awesome. And he's gonna go hide. Now, what I'm gonna... Oh, fuck. I didn't think my buddy was gone. Oh, fuck. Me. Eat shit, at least. I didn't realize my buddy got killed by arty. That sucks. Oh, the T30 didn't get me that. M53 did? I just realized that. Alrighty, guys. Well, we didn't lose money this time because we actually did a lot of damage. 5,000. I used 9 rounds. 8 of them did direct hits and 8 of them did penetration. So, yeah, I mean, not a bad round. If we would have had the other one hit, we would have been 9 for 9. Not bad at all. Like I said, it's got some benefits of the tank. but there are some bad things too. I mean, we showed on this map there's a lot of benefits to it, but you could also see too, I was getting low on ammo. Like after doing the 9 shots, you know, I only had a little bit left, so that kind of fucked me on you know, what I could do. So bear in mind when you're playing with this tank that it can be very, very unforgiving if you don't take your time to take your shots, because every bullet counts. It's just like arty. I've been in arty bat matches where I've used all my rounds up and there's only 2 tanks left, and they're usually arty, or maybe a heavy tank and an arty, and me and Bubba are sitting there like, what are we gonna do? We have no rounds left. So we had to basically just go ram somebody, hope for the best, and pretty much lose the battle because we used too many of our rounds when, you know, playing the game, and we didn't really try our best to shoot something. Now arty's a little bit harder to be more accurate, but with this tank, take your time, guys. Line up your shots. Don't do like I did and just rush the E100 shot, especially from that distance. Just take your time and do what you can. Hopefully you guys like that spot on the Arctic region that I showed you guys. It's a really, really awesome spot. I'm glad I found it. You know, try using it. Now, I don't use my heavy tanks up there, but I do use all my tank destroyers and even my arty. It just allows me a little bit more range and stuff like that, and different varieties and stuff. So anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Until next time, see ya.